بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
والنجم إذا هوى ما ضل صاحبكم وما غوى.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا وحبيبنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. So Sayyidina Yusuf عليه الصلاة والسلام was thrown in the well by his brothers. Brothers went back to their father crying. Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam is in the well. Qur'an does not specify how long he stayed in that well, but different narrations, these are narrations from Israeliyat, nothing firm, it's 3 days, some say even longer than that. And then there was a group of travelers that stopped by there, and they sent someone to take the water out of the well in case if there is any water, they were in need of it. So they sent a person to take the water out of the well. And as we said, this is ghayabat al-jub, is a deep well where everything disappears. So he can't see no water, but he throws the bucket down all the way as far as he could. And then he feels that there is weight in the bucket. So he pulls the bucket out. And as soon as when he pulled the bucket out, he sees a boy sitting in the bucket. Think of your expression at that moment. That you're throwing the bucket down in a well, and you pull the bucket, and you see a boy. And he calls of being a judge. Qadi Shaykh. He was a person that even Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in used to go to him for judgment. This is how much they trusted his opinion on this issue. So once he's sitting in a courtroom, you can say, and a woman came crying. So one of the tabi'een sitting next to him, he said, Shaykh, look, really, someone must have really heard this woman. She seems to be so oppressed. See how she's crying. And Qadi Shaykh recited this ayah. He says, وَجَاءُوا وَبَاهُمْ عِشَاءً يَبْكُونَ. He said, this is only one. 10 people are crying in front of their father, and all of them are crying. They're having false tears. He said, tears are never a sign of being right. But in our time, unfortunately, it happens. The person who cries more, he's right. Any person comes to you crying and telling you, this person did this to me, that person did this to me, and you say, yeah, that was so wrong, that was so bad. They say that if a person comes to you, not just crying, he has his eye in his hand. A person comes to you with an eye in his hand, and he complains about someone that person took my eye out. Now think of your emotions. Really? He took your eye out? You feel you want to say, I'm going to kill him. Did he really do this to you? But Sharia says that don't issue no judgment. Don't make up your mind. Don't have any evil thoughts against that person yet. Go and talk to that person first. Maybe when you go and see that person, you will find out this person first pulled out both of that person's eyes, and still you need to pull his other eye out. Because he pulled that person's 2 eyes out, and that person only did 1. So still the other one has to be taken out. So crying is never a sign of being right. And crying is different forms, different types. People cry with tears. People cry in their sound. People cry with their stories. So many different ways of crying to people and keep on just crying and crying. But we see it here that this crying was false crying, had no meaning. In fact, these are the wrongdoers, 10 of them wrongdoers. And even if you bring him, he is a good mu'min, next morning you talk to him, he's out of iman. Why? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, يَبِيعُ دِينَهُ بِعَرَضٍ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. He will sell his deen for some worldly gain. To get a name, to get some worldly benefit. A person will just sell his deen, iman, akhlaq, everything. So that's the, do you want to buy this? That means this is doubtful. You ask him, where did you get it from? Oh yeah, it's mine, you know. I mean, if it was yours, you will sell it openly in public. So now, these people are selling, this boy, asking people, do you want to buy a slave? So, it so happened that the minister, we can say the finance minister of Egypt, was passing by there, and he saw these people trying to sell a slave. So he opens. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says he came to an age of being strong, young man. He grew up now. آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا. We gave him wisdom and knowledge. Very, very important lesson. By the time your children are teenagers, make sure they have learned the hukum and ilm. They have learned how to control themselves, how to behave with themselves, and teach them the proper knowledge by that age. How many parents complain, children, teenagers, now they don't want to listen, they don't want to do anything. We tell them pray, but they don't want to pray. What do they know about prayers? How much have you taught them about the importance of salah in their lives? Now we are complaining they don't want to pray because they have seen things in their lives that even according to us are more important than their prayers. Education. You know, throughout our educational period, when children are learning, whatever they are learning at the age of their education, our practical lesson to these children is Islam is at the end of your list. This is the practical lesson normally parents are giving to their children. Go to school, do your homework. This is on daily routine. Then if you get time, read Qur'an. How many of our children read Qur'an on daily basis after they finish their homework or on their days that they have the schools? I'm not talking about weekends. Now, generally, the time for them to learn deen, let alone just reading Qur'an now. Of course, learning is important too. How do they know what are the fara'id, what is the importance, what is halal, what is haram? So now, you would learn. When would you learn it? On the weekends. What do you do over the weekends? Things that are extras. Extras, we keep them for the weekend. The important things are part of our daily schedule. On daily schedule, there is no deen, there is no learning of deen. Deen is only for the weekends. And even those weekends where we don't have any other commitments. If they have extra schoolwork, that weekend, you don't have, go tell your teachers next week that you had a lot of homework. This is why you couldn't come for Quran class. This is why you couldn't come to learn deen. So what is the lesson that our children are getting? Islam is at the end of the list. If you have time for it, you do it. If you don't have time, everything else is more important than your deen. This is the practical lesson. Tell them whatever you want. And say whatever we want. But this is practically, we are showing them that that is the most important thing. And Islam will come at the end if you have time for it. The day, the weekend, you don't have time for it, let it go. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, see, آتَيْنَاهُ بَلَغَ أَشُدَّهُ. This word is very important. As I said, so many lessons. Every word is a lesson. I was trying to go too fast today, and really I was planning to go fast forward. But this word stops us here, and everyone is stopping us. But inshallah, we'll try to move a little faster now. آتَيْنَاهُ بَلَغَ أَشُدَّهُ. By the time he got to his strength, which means he's 16, 17 years old, آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا وَكَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And now, at that age, The same thing happens at that age. All the evils will take you at that age. وَرَاوَدَتُ الَّتِي هُوَ فِي بَيْتِهَا عَنْ نَفْسِهِ. The woman that he was living in her house, she tempted him towards herself. She invited him towards herself. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, by this age, آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا. And as she invited him towards the evil, towards herself, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also tells us, وَغَلَّقَتِ الْأَبْوَابِ. She closed all doors, not just one door. All the doors that will get them to this, get anyone to come to this point, she closed all of those doors. One door she didn't close. Where was that door? To the heavens. The door to Rabbul Alameen, no one can close it alone. Anyone can close any door, but no one can close the door to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam is not looking at who's coming from this door, he's looking at who's looking from me, at me from there. And just looking at that, Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam made a statement that has 3 parts to it. Number 1, he says, قَالَ مَعَاذَ اللَّهِ. First thing, مَعَاذَ اللَّهِ. I seek Allah's protection against what you're inviting me to. See, he's looking at that door. That you think all the doors are closed and no one is watching, but مَعَاذَ اللَّهِ. I take refuge in Allah. I seek Allah's protection from falling into something like this. This is number 1. But of course she is not a believer. So therefore he goes to the next part. إِنَّهُ رَبِّي أَحْسَنَ مَثْوَايَ. My master, which means your husband, he really is taking good care of me. I'm not going to deceive him. I'm not going to cheat him. Subhanallah. This is ihsan. هَلْ جَزَاءُ الْإِحْسَانِ إِلَّا الْإِحْسَانِ. Which we forget. Number 3. إِنَّهُ لَا يُفْلِحُ الظَّالِمُونَ. This is zulm. This is wrong. And wrongdoers can never succeed. He's looking at the true falah of the akhirah. Doesn't want to lose the success of akhirah for some desires and benefit of dunya. What a beautiful important lesson here that we have. That إِنَّهُ لَا يُفْلِحُ الظَّالِمُونَ. For whatever you're doing, just think about, will this take me to the steps of success in akhirah, or will make me lose my success of akhirah? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, but really she was determined to commit that evil with him. Hammat bihi. And he would have been falling into the same situation, لَوْلَا أَرَّأَ بُرْهَانَ رَبِّي, if he would not have seen the sign from Allah, a proof from Allah. What was that proof? Qur'an does not specify, but some say that the nabuwah that Allah was going to give him, and the message that he's been receiving from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And of course, this could be something very, very strong that we know when he was thrown in the well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him that you will be informing your brothers. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that وَاسْتَوَى آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا. We gave him the knowledge. So he's receiving the message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May not be in a form of a wahi that Jibreel alayhi salam is bringing a revelation, but Allah is putting that information in his heart, in his mind. So that is a clear sign from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to him that you are my chosen servant and you can't do this. Some people say, no, he saw some other sign, that he saw the picture of Yaqub alayhi salam in front of his eyes. And that is possibility. A lot of scholars do narrate this, that he wished Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam, and he said, I can't deceive my father Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam. This reminds me, a person went to a university in England from some other country, without going into the details of it, and he says, over there I was attacked, my iman was attacked from every corner. And you know the situation, when a person is all by himself, balagha shuddahu, he's young, strong, has money in his hand, no one is watching over him. A lot of attacks, different types of attacks. Sometimes even the attacks are just doubts about your deen and iman. He said, one thing saved me. There was one thing that saved me. You know what was that? He said, I read a book about Umar radiallahu anhu. And every time when I would think of falling off, or whenever I'm about to slip of my deen, iman, my morality, I would picture Umar radiallahu anhu, that man was not wrong, and I don't want to go away from the path of that man. Subhanallah, Umar, 1400 years later, saving people's iman. Having that connection, imagine the connection with the sulaha, with the pious people, with the people of deen. And of course, that's the whole topic. They both ran. Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, now he realized that Muhammad bihi, she's not stopping. Even though he told her, Ma'ad Allah, innahu rabbi ahsana maswaya, innahu la yafnahu dhalimun, 3 reasons, not enough. Muhammad bihi still, so he ran. And she ran to the wastabaq al-bab. She ran after him. And by the time he got to the door, she pulled him with his shirt. And the shirt got ripped from the back. And Yusuf alayhi salam quickly opened the door. He wants to do whatever he can to protect himself. So he opened the door, and as he opened the door, her husband is standing in front of them. Husband standing right there. That's not the time when he normally would come. Today he just came. He happened to come home at that time, and he opened the door and he sees that scene. And right away, she goes to her husband and she says, "See what this boy is trying to do to your wife?" MashaAllah. Again, another lesson that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us. Brothers are going there crying to their father. Here, this woman is saying, "See, I was running away. Did you see me running?" He saw her running. Yeah, both were running. See, he was running after me. You should punish him somehow. And right there, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to prove that who was right and who was wrong. Inshallah, we'll continue from there on. Wa sallallahu ta'ala ala khayri khalqi Sayyidina wa Nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Just a reminder, tomorrow or today, tonight is Jum'ah. So we talked about Jum'ah last week, so we need to remember the importance of this night, this day. And we have only one more Jum'ah most probably after this. So let's utilize it as much as inshallah can in the best way we can.
مولاي صل وسلم دائما